Welcome. We're back.
Welcome back to the Free Gems Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. You are now here tuned in for episode 144. You know what I'm saying? Look, we got K Single to your left.
Yeah,
Jesus here to your right.
You already know how the setup is.
Yeah, you know how the setup go, man.
Your favorite host.
Ain't nothing changed too much, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing changed but the dynamics of the YouTube world and the YouTube streets. Son, have you been paying attention to what's been going on the last 7 days?
There's a lot been going on.
From the minute we ended the recording last week to today,
everything's been, bro.
Everybody's in jail. Yeah. Everybody's dead. Everybody's coming out of jail. It's so much going on.
Yeah, there's so much going on.
Like, we ain't even read the list of topics, but I'm like, I don't know if you realize how much shit there's really to talk about.
Oh, I know.
Like, I think we got to dive right on into it. So, I don't know how much of a No Jumper fan, if you ever really watched No Jumper, or if you ever really seen No Jumper.
I keep up with No Jumper.
I'll be honest with you. Adam 22 is one of my bigger inspirations towards like wanting to get into media and doing interviews and stuff like that and just podcasting. But so I don't know if you heard about the Big U Rico.
Oh, absolutely.
And how this ties into No Jumper is because like 3-4 of the No Jumper hosts had got indicted in this Big U Rico.
Yep.
Right. Most notably the main co-host, Brick Baby, right? Somebody I've actually been familiar with since like 2010 through music. Brick Baby, a dude named Loose Cannon, who's been making a lot of headlines recently. His girlfriend, I forget her name, but she's pretty famous. His girlfriend's really the reason why he got famous, but she's like one of those like famous social media women who I think her name is like Charisse. If any girls listening, they might know who I'm talking about. Charisse, I don't know, but Big U, we got to talk about it,
bro.
Not sure if you're familiar with what Big U is for real.
Yeah, you know what's. Go ahead.
No. So I was just gonna say. So Big U, if people don't know, Big U is the leader of the Rolling 60s Crips in California, and he's basically the modern age Tookie Williams for real. As far as like he has the control, he's looked at as the head. He is the main figure. He is the face of the Rolling 60s Crips, which is pretty much the biggest gang in California, and he's a reformed gang member who did like a crazy 15, 20-year stretch, came home. It's crazy because his son is actually Davon Henley from the Chargers. He's one of the linebackers for the Chargers. I
didn't know that.
Yeah, if you look at him, twins.
I didn't know that.
Identical twins. Yeah, he's like he's a young linebacker. You know what I'm talking about.
But I know that. But ironically on the Chargers.
Yeah, ironic on Los Angeles Chargers. It's not ironic. I don't think nothing's ironic with Big U no more. After these charges have been alleged, I'm like, oh, this shit is a plot. So in the midst of all this, Big U, reformed gang member, he comes out, he's working with the community, he's well known for being Nipsey Hussle's like big homie / father figure. Him and Nipsey were like the best of buds. Nipsey Hussle was signed to him. He has foundations that he's been running where athletes donate. He has Draymond Green has donated, Shaquille O'Neal has donated, all these big athlete friends because he's influential in not just the streets but the music industry. Like I said, through his ties to Nipsey and a bunch of other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because music and gang bang go like this apparently.
Especially in LA.
Especially in LA.
Especially
in LA, everything in gang bang.
Yeah, everything is related.
Politics, your pharmacies are ran by a local gang. So, in the midst of all this paperwork, you just start seeing that apparently a lot of funds have been misused. A lot of funds were being used to actually further the gang ties, and a lot of his influence is actually used as extortion, and a lot of this is all alleged, a lot of his connections was really used as let me tap your pockets real quick. You think you about to live in LA and play for the Lakers or the Clippers or the Chargers or the LA Galaxy, the soccer team. Like, listen, if you get some money in LA, Big U was tapping that pocket. That's what they saying. I ain't gonna lie. Dispensary, we tapping that pocket. What you doing? You work security? You got a security company? We tapping that pocket. Extortion gang. I ain't gonna lie, they moving like the mob. So not only this, there's a bunch of robberies and a bunch of other stuff going on, and then
fixing dice games,
right? Adrian Broner somehow got involved in the mix, and they doing shit where they robbing people and then making them pay to give them back the same money they just robbed from them. It's insane. The craziest shit in the world. For example, one of the things they ran into a dispensary. They were supposedly they were extorting money from the dispensary. They needed $25,000 a month from them. Cool. That ended up being a little bit too much for the owner of the dispensary. That turns into, okay, you don't got my $25,000. Watch this. 20 men rush in there with guns, no mask on. Extortion time. Robbed the whole store, including the client. Everybody that's in there got robbed. Customers. They robbed the register. They ransacked the store, straight takeover style, and told them, "Yo, this is for Big U. We told y'all don't got that $25,000. We need it." Cool. They did the robbery. One of the main assailants in the indictment, Loose Cannon, who I just mentioned, he went on a podcast and kind of told this story kind of vaguely, Right. And it's like, yo, the self-snitching on podcast is a whole nother topic we're going to get
That's
into.
all. Yeah, yes.
But, so story time. So he says he's telling the story without trying to tell the story. But then when you look at the indictment, it follows. It's word for word basically. Like
bar for bar.
Like bar for bar. Like this is what he's talking about. So in the midst of all this, Loose Cannon explains that they after they did the robbery, they go back to Big U's. They link up with Big U to explain what they got from the robbery, how it's going to work. Cool. And then during that meeting, who shows up to the house? The motherfucker who owns the dispensary. The motherfucker goes to the dispensary, shows up to the house. Big U's like, yo, look, we got y'all for $40,000. We're going to give you back this 40, give us 10, and I'm going to, you know what I'm saying, just now make it 10 a month. But here's the money back from the robbery. Give us 10 a month. Extortion game, bro. It's some lunatic shit. And it's crazy because Luke Cannon said it on a podcast, and he said this is when he knew something was wrong. Like, why would we go rob somebody and then they come afterwards and we give them back the money and we tell them, look, just make sure you hit this 10K. So it's pretty much like this is an example of what could happen.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Listen,
which is really strong.
You was at 20.
Right.
We'll give you
25.
this 40 back.
Yeah.
We'll give you this 40 back. Now you only owe us 10. But
10 a month.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what's funny?
Yeah.
There was an interview with Tiny Lister, R.I.P.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, that's Debo.
Mm-hmm.
And he said when he got the character of Debo from Friday, his inspiration was Big U.
Oh, really?
He said that in an interview. His inspiration for the character was Big U.
That's fucking insane.
And obviously, with all this coming out, there's throwback videos. It was a throwback video saying his inspiration for Debo from Friday was Big U.
Yeah, and Big U, very reputable name, and everybody knows. So the craziest part about all this is that that's not even the worst crime on it, because there's also a murder charge in this indictment. Now the murder charge is alleging that Big U, he had an artist signed to him, which was also his son's best friend. This is where Davion Henley gets tied into it, where it gets a little bit complicated, because it's like, damn, you're in the NFL, and then all this is happening with your dad, and it's like, so Big U allegedly signed this kid who was his son's best friend. For whatever reason, things got a little heated. It turned into, for whatever reason, they had to go do some recording in Vegas, and so Big U shipped the kid out to Vegas, and then they linked up over there at the studio, and then through whatever argument, whatever ensued, after that, there was a 2-hour period where Big U's phone gets turned off. They have GPS tracking of the other kid's phone. They end up in the middle of the desert. Big U shows up to the studio 2 hours later. This kid doesn't. Big U's phone gets turned on a few hours later, back in the studio, and there's like a 2-hour window they can't account for. The next morning, the kid's body gets found in the middle of the desert, and Big U's DNA is under the kid's fingernails.
Oh, see, I didn't even know all that.
All this it's crazy that all this is coming. Mind you, this is a reform gang member that politicians, all people are aligned with, it, thinking that he's working towards helping the community. And not to get it twisted, he was giving back. That was a clear thing. He was giving back. But what good is giving back if the whole time you're doing dirt? You know what I mean? It's fucked up, man, because you really sit there and you think, like, people become reformed, people will do their time and come back out. And it's like, yo, bro, this dude was moving like he was a 20-year-old, just like he thought this shit was a movie. He thought I could just get this off and we can make it happen. But in the midst of
he
all
has
this,
been.
He made it. He knew something was wrong though, because in the midst of his extortion plots, he started sending other people to go pick up the money. Little did he know those people had already contacted the police. He was picking up police money. That extortion money, that $10,000 a month, became police's $10,000 a month, which just made their case open and shut. So these last 4 years of them investigating, he's just been making it hotter and hotter and connecting more and more people. And it's looking spooky, but I want to hear your thoughts on all of this.
Man, it's really crazy how sometimes, like, it's a different world out there, and there's different rules you have to abide by. But it's just very unfortunate. And apparently they were saying some sportscasters were getting extorted.
Everybody
Players was getting extorted.
They were charging $100K a year for extortion alone, off any like athlete. We need 100. You want protection? We need 100.
And if you don't get this protection, we can't guarantee anything's gonna happen to you. Anything, aka us. You know what I mean? Like, it's just crazy to think about, especially because you got to realize LA is not like any other place. It's not like Milwaukee. Right. It's not like Kansas City. People got to go to LA, especially if you're in entertainment industry. You have to be in LA 100%. For certain things.
At a certain part of the year,
it's not like, I'm never gonna go back to LA again. Okay, well, when you have business in LA, you will be in LA. So It's just crazy to think about how this was going on for years, and apparently, allegedly, they were trying to say he's tied to the Nipsey murder.
Yep,
allegedly,
they're looking into it now.
And there was an old video of Charleston White saying,
a lot of people have been saying
he's been saying everybody knows that. They were trying to say that Nip was getting too big for the gang, and nobody's bigger than the program type of thing. Yep. This is all allegedly. I'm not saying this is true, but it's just a lot of rumors circulating, and I feel like a lot of things are going to be said after this comes out. And did you see the video that he made before he went in? He made like a 9-minute rant video saying he's all innocent. He was with his family and everything.
It's a witch hunt.
It's a witch hunt. He said, there's so many people in this indictment I don't even bang with. Everybody know I don't fuck with Brick Baby. All these people, they're trying to tie me into this. But it's just crazy, and it's very unfortunate because do you think that somebody like Marv Albert was being indicted? I mean, was being extorted? Do you think Marv Albert or Dirk Nowitzki or Luka Doncic was being? What about when Andre Karolinko was playing in the NBA? Do you think that they were?
I see what you're getting at.
Of course not.
We're all on our worst enemies.
That is that's what I'm getting at. Yeah. I think it's just very unfortunate. Do you think Andre Karolinko was getting had to come out of pocket in order to travel around in LA? It's just very unfortunate, and I think that a lot is going to come up from this, and a lot of other names, and the self snitching you were saying is actually very crazy to me, and it's a whole long line, and I've seen it verbatim. Especially a lot of these gang members or reformed gang members, they go now they're on podcast platforms and they're telling these stories and acting like they're telling these vague stories, but when you add them up or when you see an indictment and you see the story next to each other, we know exactly what story you're telling.
And apparently people don't know what statute of limitations are because you're telling a story from 3-4 years ago. Gang, most crimes don't clear up till like 7 to 10 years.
I think 7 years.
So it's like, bro, you got to know, like, you got to be aware of what you're doing. Like, I mean, not for nothing, Loose Cannon gave a whole story. He was saying it like a year and a half ago. He said, yo, Big U killed Nipsey Hussle. It was his plan. It was his whole idea. He made it happen. He alleges that Big U had called him and told him that Nipsey died 30 minutes before Nipsey actually got killed. And he said, and Loose Cannon said he called Nip right there to check on him, and Nip picked up the phone. That's how he knew Nip wasn't dead yet. He said, and then an hour and a half later, you hear Nipsey just got shot 30 minutes ago, and he's like, what the fuck? He's like, I was just on the phone with him. And I was just on the phone with Big U who told me he got shot before he got shot. He's like, shit not making sense. So Loose Cannon also, the reason why he started speaking about it, because he was kind of trying to expose that Big U was moving like a cop. He's like, yo, he's doing police shit. He said, we doing robberies and we're working with the motherfucker we just robbed. He said, we go and buy a bunch of guns, and when we go give them to the homies, because he verbatim said, I was Big U's right-hand man, which is probably the most, that statement right there alone is going to fire you in court. But he explains that they went through a process where Big U bought like 20 guns, and he wrote down the serial numbers of each gun that he sold. And he was like, why the fuck are you keeping record of who you're selling these guns to? That's not gangster. That's police shit. Why are you doing that? And he was like, yo, after that, that's when he was like, yo, I got to cut ties with this dude. And he's been trying to distance himself without realizing, like, yo, all that distancing don't matter no more, bro.
It's already.
Like, just because Lil Baby changed his record label don't mean the police ain't still trying to catch Lil Baby.
Like, ain't investigating what happened when he was at that record label.
Exactly. So it's like, man, this shit is, it's a spooky situation. And it's crazy how many people are tied in. And like, even with the Nipsey thing, I do want to mention, like, there's a clip of Big U explaining, I signed Nipsey Hussle in 2009 to a 10-year record deal, and he was pretty much saying like he owned all that motherfucker's masters, because this is when publishing wasn't looked at as big because nobody was streaming. People, even in 2019 when Nipsey passed, streaming wasn't at where it's at right now.
No, it wasn't.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was not. People weren't looking at streaming like, oh, this is gonna be a reason to make. This is gonna be how we really make money for the next 100 years off of our music. People didn't really understand it to the level of how much money is gonna be coming in. But regardless, the 10 years to the day. The 10 years was up in March 2019. Nipsey died April 1st, if I'm not mistaken, on March 31st of 2019. So it's like, damn. It just so happened he wasn't trying to re-sign with Big U. Nipsey was preaching all his independence leading into the end of his contract, and it was for a reason, because he knew, I'm about to drop the album of the
Victory
year,
lap.
and I'm off this label. I'm cool off y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all. And it's just insane, man, because all these things, it's tying it in, and it doesn't look good for Big U. It doesn't look good for Brick Baby. Loose Cannon, the rest of everybody who got indicted, man. And they're saying this isn't really a Rolling 60s RICO. This is a Big U RICO. It's literally called Operation Big U.
Wow. Damn, wow.
Like they're just looking for him. That's not the exact name, but it's like Operation U Big. It's like Operation Big U. Put it like that. It's Operation Big U. When we edit it, we'll put it up the exact name, but it's literally just for him.
It's just
you can't make this shit up.
No, not at all. And like I said, LA is a very special place where everybody has to go through. Everybody got to pass by.
Hey,
and you got to realize, listen, if you're a young entertainer, or you're a young artist, or you're in the NBA or something, and you're making all this money, a lot of them, I'll give you this 10 bands, I'll give you this 20 bands for peace of mind. I don't want to have to come to LA and worry about any of this. You know?
Another thing in that indictment, actually, and make sure I throw that out there, is the kidnapping of Meek Mill. Like, yo, bro, it gets deep. Apparently, there was a situation. Meek Mill was performing in LA at a club or something, and there was already some type of tension between Meek and I guess the neighborhood Crips. And apparently, Loose Cannon also told the story on the podcast last year where he says, yeah, man, I remember we saved Meek Mill's life. Man, we called Ross like, yo, drop off a 50 ball or Meek's not leaving. And they had 100 Crips outside, and Meek was shook like, yo, I can't go nowhere. These motherfuckers got the whole parking lot flooded, surrounded. Like, yeah, I'm 5'10" deep, but what the fuck is 10 people to 100 motherfuckers? 80 crash outs and 20 big homies
in they hood,
in the middle of their hood. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. It's
Meek actually came out and tried to denied the story, but
and it's also really spooky because I mean, of course, Meek's supposed to deny the story. That also helped Big U's case from the street moral code is to try to not let don't let your ops go to jail. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't want your ops to go to jail. You know, so or you do. Or still, the quote all street niggas love is I don't wish jail on nobody. I fucking hate that quote. I'm not gonna lie. It makes me so mad. Cause I ain't gonna lie, if you my op, I don't give a fuck what happens to you. Like, sayonara. I'm not wishing it, but I don't give a fuck. I'ma laugh it off. Like, oh, bitch ass nigga, I'll see you later. You'll be home, motherfucker. But
apparently, Charles Barkley, Shaq was apparently, and they were saying how Steven Jackson was. They were like, "Oh, I know they had Steven Jackson in the chokehold. I know he was giving Titan.
Because you know, Steven Jackson want to be in the middle of the chest.
Yeah, I'm about to say,
I ain't gonna put it on my boy Steve as Jack. Like, nah.
No, that's what the internet was saying. Yeah. It was like, oh, I know he was happy to give his Titan.
And to make it even trickier too, what's so crazy is like I don't know if people know how it works, but like basically like when it goes to like LA hood names, like when you're in the gang, they give you a actual gang name. So you got a name, cool. You got a nickname, that's cool. You get also a gang nickname. Like, for example, Brick Baby is Brick Baby. That's who he is, right? But his gang name is Shitty Cuz. So he's shitty. Like, that's his name. It's Shitty. Like, Big U, his gang name is Draws. I know this because I watch way too much fucking dumb shit on YouTube. So his name is Draws. He's Big Draws, but then there's Little Draws, Tiny Draws. There's, like, little, tiny OG. Like, there's a bunch of prefixes to the name, and that also detail who that person is.
Yes.
So, for example, Brick Baby is Shitty, and then Little Shitty is actually Eric Holder. Who's Eric Holder?
Oh, Eric Holder.
Eric Holder is the man who killed Nipsey Hussle. Now, Eric Holder and Nipsey, Big U, Brick Baby, they're all in the same gang. They're all in the exact same set, Rolling 60s neighborhood Crips. So it was also very weird because Brick Baby and Nipsey were like this. If you look at some of Nipsey's last tweets, they were him shouting out Brick Baby and like, yo, we just went to dinner, da-da-da-da-da, like shout out to Brick Baby. You know what I'm saying? And he's in all the videos coming up. So it was very weird to hear that Shitty killed Nipsey because people were like, that's Brick Baby. Brick Baby was in jail at the time. So when you see that, okay, Brick Baby's little homie killed his best friend, it was like, what? And they're all in the same gang. It's like, huh? But then you start hearing about how Big U had people in a chokehold as far as like whatever he tell you to do, you doing it. Like, because Brick Baby, one of his indictments is a robbery from 2013 where he got caught on phone tap calling Big U, telling him like, yo, we got to divvy up this bread that we just hit a lick for. And it's just, man, it's a lot going on. But they're trying to say that Big U used Little Shitty in order to kill Nipsey. And it don't look good that Big Shitty is with Big U and they're best of buds even after allegedly they're saying Big U told Lil Shady to kill. I don't know, bro. It's a mixy fucking world. It's
a
thank
whole
God I'm
lot
not
of
LA.
politicking.
Right. I wouldn't even talk about this if I was living in LA for real. I'd have to shut the fuck up, right? Because this shit is dangerous. You know what I'm saying? It's a dangerous topic. It
is.
And LA's so tricky, man. You think shit's safe. You think it's sweet because you're like, oh, I'm an NBA player. I'm gonna just land in my hotel. I'm gonna land at the airport, go to my hotel. Okay, when you land at the airport, TSA agent, he a former Crip. The motherfucker works security or valet, he's blood. You feel me? You check into the hotel, the valet driver in the front, he's tied to the Hoovers. And it's like you think you're safe, but really everybody knows somebody who knows somebody. You know what I'm saying? Example, PNB Rock. They're saying one of the waiters at the Roscoe's saw him, and he was the one who sent the text out to one of the little niggas that was outside. Like, yo, PNB Rock just walked in with 100,000 on his name. It's like it's never safe in LA.
The assistant manager at the hotel where the NBA players are staying.
He the big homie. He did 20 years in jail, came home reformed, and got a job at the fucking Hilton.
And like I said, that's the thing about LA. If you're in the entertainment industry, at some point you got to go to LA. It's not like you're up in Minneapolis where okay, I'll never go back there. I mean, hey, and I think what's gonna come out of this once the dust settles, a lot of different stories are going to come out, and I think it's going to be very layered, very, very, very layered. How this is connected to that, I think that is connected to that, and it's.
Listen, I'm praying for Davon because I don't want Davon Henley. I don't want his life. I don't want him to get tied into this. He got something going on. I checked his Madden rating. He's 80 overall. I'm like, oh, he's solid. Like, he's an NFL player for real. He's not a backup player. He's not on the bench. He's not like, he needs to stay there and stay away from all this other shit. But being on the LA Chargers, it makes me weary. Like, yo, what has he been tied into? Because if they're extorting athletes, I mean, shit. I'm just saying. Who know more athletes than if my son plays with them
in LA?
I'm just saying, it's tricky, man. It's fucking tricky.
At SoFi Stadium.
I'm just saying, it's very tricky. But in other news, we gotta move on because there's so much.
We gotta move on. Yeah, we gotta move on.
So, I don't know if you've seen, if you heard about what happened with Sauce Walka.
Yes, in Memphis.
The man with 9 lives for real.
Yeah.
So, Sauce Walka, if y'all don't know, rapper from Houston, he was out in Memphis with one of his artists who's from Memphis, Say So P. And in the midst of them spending the weekend out there, they were running around the city, taunting the city, telling them, hey, listen, we in Memphis. Well, Say So P, so it was the one that was really taunting the city. Like, y'all, they say, I can't come back to my hood. I'm all through my hood. Well, in the midst of him being through the hood. Bands in the video. He's posting money, chains, all that, but all that had nothing to do with it because what happens is he's posting videos on live. He's posting Instagram vids. In one of those vids, right on the background, it says Winston Hotel. Wyndham Hotel. It showed the hotel name. In the midst of that, probably a couple hours later, they're walking out the hotel. Broad daylight, 3 p.m. Light this shit up across the street from the fucking arena where the Grizzlies play. Yeah, I'm talking downtown Memphis. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we don't give a fuck who you with, we land it off. The craziest part is both Sauce Walka and Say So P iced up, money on them, no security, cool. They had no intention on robbing them. It was so crazy. They said allegedly one of the shooters stood over Sauce Walka and saw that it was Sauce Walka and said, oh, this ain't even for you, my bad, big dog.
And then, yeah.
And they left him alone. After seeing that he was wounded, their real target was Say So P. His beef was in Memphis. And rest in peace to Say So P, who actually tragically lost his life that day.
Bro.
And it's just insane because Sauce Walka, bro, it's like the fourth life-threatening situation he's had in the last 4 years.
I remember the situation in LA.
He's gotten shot every year for 4 years straight, and those aren't the only situations. He just flipped his car going 100-something miles an hour last year, and almost died. Had a complete car wreck and that shit. He got shot just last year. Got shot in the leg twice just now. He got shot in 2022. Like, bro, this dude has 9 lives. And unfortunately, his artist, Say So P, ends up dying.
Yeah.
And they're saying that allegedly it was tied to a dice game robbery where he robbed somebody. He didn't rob. Well, technically, allegedly. Well, it is a robbery if you use trick dice. I ain't gonna lie. Absolutely. So apparently, 200,000. He ran off for 200,000, moved to Miami, and came back to the city talking about I'm back in the city. And listen, that explains why the sense of urgency of I gotta kill this motherfucker downtown Memphis at 3 p.m. when I find him. Cause he don't be here, and we don't give a fuck what jewelry he got on, the money he got. That's not what we're here for. We just want him dead. 200,000 to get you killed like that. I ain't gonna lie. Like, you run up for somebody 200,000, they coming to look for you. I'm not gonna lie to you.
And that makes sense why they saw sauces like this not even for you.
Right.
Like they don't even
Right.
It's not
This ain't for you. We ain't even gonna do you like this. And they unfortunately, let's say so have it. But I mean, it's a tricky world because it's, you know, you live that life. It's like live by the gun, die by the gun kind of situation. You know, if you're in the streets, you can't be surprised when you end up getting killed on some street shit.
And Memphis is
the scariest shit in the world, bro.
Memphis is a different world.
Shout out to my boy Eric, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, shout out my boy Eric Moss.
Yeah, he always tells us like, yo, Memphis ain't been no hole. He left Teaneck to go to Memphis in like 2003. He like, yo, this is the most treacherous shit I've ever seen. Like, this shit different out here.
Shout out Eric Moss, man. Hardly Broke clothing line.
Mm-hmm. Definitely shout out to Harley Broke. Shout out to the whole Memphis though, because Memphis been taking over the world music-wise. But
literally.
Yeah, but man, I want to hear your thoughts on the whole situation. Like,
I mean, it's just a tragic story, tragic situation. I don't like when I hear anybody losing their life, especially like that, being gunned down like that. But listen, you live a fast lifestyle. You know, that's sometimes, unfortunately, sometimes that's part of it. You know, you live a certain lifestyle. Sometimes the lifestyle catches up with you. But I'm just glad Sauce wasn't a casualty in all this. You know, he had nothing to do with this, but
yeah, and I fuck with Sauce.
Yeah, me too.
I've always been a fan.
Me too. And Sauce is very intelligent too.
No, really,
very intelligent.
That's exactly why I've always been a fan.
He's ignorant, but he's very intelligent.
Very intelligent. If you listen to his interview, you realize like, oh, this ain't no fool.
No, he's not.
He's putting on the show for sure. all that. Ooh, he saw all that kid that did that rhyming everywhere. That shit is a show. This motherfucker is a millionaire for real off of doing smart shit, like literally running bitches OnlyFans and shit like that. Like he off the music, signing artists, doing real estate, like the things he talks about in his interviews in depth. You'd be like, oh, this ain't a rapper. Like this motherfucker's a businessman on like for real.
Yeah. So we spoke about Ricos. Did you hear K-Flock?
K-Flock is, listen, I'm gonna be honest. Shout out to K-Flock because he actually caught a W if you ask me. The police hit him with a self-defense with the murder that he got caught up in, which is a blessing. Yeah. But he still got found guilty on 6 different charges from the RICO indictment. For the RICO, yeah. So, hey, listen, you get another chance at life, man. Anything better than life. They could have gave him life. They say he's facing up to 20. He hasn't been sentenced just yet. But even 20 is better than life.
And they'll probably give him time served and all that.
Oh, for sure they're going to give him time served. Yeah, for sure. For sure. It just doesn't help that the second he hears that he don't got the murder charge, he gets on the internet and he starts talking about, man, you know, I beat that, you know what I'm saying? Like, stay solid, G's up, never fold, never told, all this other shit. I'm like, yo, the judge don't want to hear that, gang. Shut the fuck up. Release that statement once you get sentenced. Because this isn't going to help you. It's not going to give you no leniency, seeing that you're like almost throwing it in the government's face. Like, man, I ain't got no fucking murders. I can handle anything else. They're going to be like, oh, you can handle anything else? Watch this 20.
While you're in prison, mind you.
Watch you get this extra 20 just because we can give you that. We're going to max you out just because you're talking like that. So, I mean, hey, listen. If it ain't life, it ain't long. You feel me? Bro went to jail at like 19. So if he gets 20, he still be home to see his whole 40s for real.
Yeah, he'll probably be in the middle 30s. Yeah. I'm about to say like mid-30s.
He'll come home in the middle 30s. He'll have a whole life to live, and he'll be a fucking legend. Are you kidding me? He's gonna be a New York fucking legend. Motherfuckers be treating Sean like he was a legend. He didn't even catch a body. He ain't even actually shoot nobody. This nigga caught a body in the mirrors, and he's gonna come home and be able to talk about it. He's gonna be a fucking movie.
And Sean is an ambassador to.
Yeah, that's a whole nother situation. But I mean, like, hey, listen, anybody who knows, listen, you catch a body in the hood and come home, you are the GOAT. You are looked at as the Messiah, the Almighty.
Unfortunately, that's
the scariest part.
That's the culture that is unfortunately we live in.
Yeah, man. You know? And it's fucking spooky because it's like, damn, yo, you really got another chance. And he really got lucky though because the kid that he had unalived. That kid, when the police came and did the autopsy, he literally died clutching to his gun. So that really helped his self-defense case because he had a loaded gun in his hand, literally. But it was just in his pocket. Yeah. So the kid got shot. He got hit in the neck and the chest, if I'm not mistaken, and died on the scene. But it really helped K-Flock that kid had a gun. But it's not like K-Flock saw that gun. But not for nothing. K-Flock was outside, if you remember the situation. He's outside with I think 2 females were with him, and the dude followed him. So that also really helped. what I'm saying? Like, even if I'm antagonizing you, you came out the store. I don't know what you coming outside for. You know what I'm saying? Even if I'm saying, ha, 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 for nothing in the boo-boo, fuck you, and I keep walking, then you come back outside, I mean, technically that kid was the aggressor at that point. It's not like K-Flock went in there to come get you. He walked past. He was just like, you bitch-ass nigga, and kept it moving. You feel me? So he got lucky. I'll tell him that much.
Well, we'll see what they end up sentencing him for, and everyone else indicted in RICO.
Bro, it's like a straight jail episode because I know you've seen NBA YoungBoy is officially out of prison. Son.
Yeah, NBA YoungBoy's out. I think he's in a halfway house right now.
Halfway house. He got 30 days, and they're saying, bro, first of all, we was just up here like 2 months ago, and he got sentenced to like 27 months. How the fuck is he out already? Yo, bro, I need to get rich. I need to get rich, bro. Because you can really just commit crimes when you got money, bro. Look at A$AP Rocky. Shoot a nigga on camera and tell him it's a starter pistol. What are you talking about? What the fuck is a starter pistol? And now, YoungBoy gets sentenced to 27 months and he's home in 12 weeks? What the fuck just happened? Yo, bro, I just watched this motherfucker order thousands of fucking fake pills. Thousands of pills on the fake identities and just do a couple months like it was nothing. He just beat like 4 gun charges, bro.
Yeah. They say he's
federal charges too. These weren't state charges.
Yeah, fed charges.
Federal charges.
And this is not. This is him being on house arrest for how long?
He's on house arrest for like 5 years and didn't get a daytime serve for that. That's why I'm confused. I'm like, how does this work? What's going on right now?
I don't know, bro.
I'm not mad, but listen, YoungBoy, I'm not mad. They're saying he gonna come home. It's looking like 600,000 to better a show. It's looking.
Oh yeah.
Like, yo, bro, YoungBoy hasn't been on tour. He has not performed in years.
He can.
He hasn't performed in years, so I'm excited to see what's gonna happen. Hopefully, inspire some new music. He can stop shooting videos in his garage. You know what I'm saying? Like,
on Grave Digger Mountain.
He can get on Grave Digger Mountain now. You know, it's saying he's spending time with his family. It's cool to see that he came home. But listen, what I do know is, just get a little money and you can do whatever crime you want. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, no,
that's the lesson I've learned from this.
No, there's countless examples of that.
Yeah, right.
There's countless.
I'm like, oh shit, countless shit different.
So I want to dive into another topic. Did you see that DoorDash is now partnering up with Klarna, which is the deferred payment company?
Oh yeah. Klarna's financing app. It's like a firm.
Yes, where now you can defer your payments or pay a down payment for your meal with no interest. You can pay off your meal with no interest now.
I ain't gonna lie, the economy.
That is that. I was about to say that shows the type of economy we're in, where you can pay off a burrito 4 weeks later.
Yo, that's insane, bro.
That show goes.
That's
to
the
show.
definition of like, let me borrow $40.
Yeah,
like that's really that.
No.
Yo, let me borrow $40.
Listen, not only that.
Damn.
There was just a study that came out that the United States was ranked 24th in happiness in the world, which is the lowest ever.
24th?
24th.
There's 23 countries happier than us?
Yeah.
How?
See?
What other 24? Well, if you include like the islands in the Caribbean, I can count 20 of them there that definitely happier than us with the weather, the women, the food. I feel them.
What?
They don't know they poor. It's lit out there right
Switzerland, Denmark, Sweden, all them places.
Yeah.
All them northern European places. But it just goes to show. I'm glad you said that. How are 23 countries happier than us? We're so Americanized that we're in such in a bubble that we can't fathom life outside of here.
Yeah.
We think here is the be all end all. We think here is the best. We say this is the best country in the world. A lot of it has to do with the position that we're sitting in. We can't see the forest from the trees. We're looking at it from this perspective. It's no different from me saying the school I went to was the best school in the world. Well, why is it? Is it education? Is it food? Is it party life? No, it's because I went there. Well, that's very solipsistic. You know what I mean? We're so gung ho on what we feel because we're a part of it. We're so nationalized and thinking just because we're a part of it, it's the best. But let's look at the statistics now. What are we the best in? Incarceration rates, military spending. What are we the best in? Medical expenditures, not outcomes, because we're the worst. We're the worst between outcomes and expenditures.
Right.
The ratio between outcome and expenditures. We spend the most in healthcare, but we have low outcomes. So what are we really the best in? You know, infrastructure, mediocre.
For sure.
What about public transportation? Mediocre.
Yep.
You know, what about happiness level of the people? Obviously, mediocre. It's just not adding up. It's just, like when you sit down and look at how much is spent versus what we get back, it just doesn't make sense. Anytime we tout that we are the best, it's either talking about military strength, which doesn't help the people, or we talk about accomplishments that not our own. We talk about the accomplishments of the elite, GDP, right? Yep. So let's say if we break down GDP in 10-year increments, right? In the 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, GDP has gone through the roof. But if wages or the average happiness of the people isn't growing congruent with the GDP that we're accumulating, who does that help? Doesn't help the people. So we like to tout the accomplishments of other people. We have the most billionaires. We want to tout that statistic, but what does that have to do with the people? Right. You know, so like it's funny. It doesn't make any sense. There are workers, people of the working class. If you work a job, you're in the working class. There are people who are workers who defend the elites when they're talking with other workers. They're defending the elites when you're talking with other workers. That's no difference in. Let me give you an example. Let's say there are two people that work for competing companies in the same industry. They've been working there for 30 years. Oh, my company's the best. No, my company's the best. And they're arguing about who works at a better company. And over those 30 years, one of the people had to start driving Uber in order to supplement and live the same lifestyle that he's been living for the last 30 years. Mm-hmm. The other guy had to get a second job. So you were over there competing, ready to kill each other based on whose company's better, when both of y'all, the value of your life has gone down in those 30 years. Damn. On the same side, on the flip side, the CEOs that you're defending, they go to the same country club. They golf together. Their kids go to school together. They're on a yacht somewhere, bragging and toasting to the fact that they're the leaders in the industry. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
That do make a lot of sense. You just broke that down. I'm like, damn, you're right though.
Yes.
Everybody at Walmart, you can't sustain a living off that no more.
No.
But Walmart and Target the owners are having a grand old time. They ain't go downwards at all. Meanwhile, all the employees are looking like you said, I gotta drive Lyft, I gotta do something to make some extra bread, because the prices of everything else has grown so much, and we're still getting this wage that we can't go up in this company even if we wanted to.
Even if you go up, it's not going up compared to 15, 20 years later. The bottom position, if you move up, you're living in the same position the step under you was living 20 years ago. So you're not even really going up. Yeah. And then when you look at it, and when you look at the trajectory of everything, another 10, 20, 30 years, it's not getting any better. And I think another big problem is that we have people in the working class that, yes, working hard is wonderful. Yes, everybody wants to somehow be successful, but success doesn't mean the same for everybody. No. That's what I think you have to realize. We're living in America. Not everybody wants to be rich. Not everybody needs to be rich. There are essential workers. We need teachers. Yeah. Everybody does an essential job that makes up a society. And everybody who's working a full-time job should be able to afford a regular lifestyle. This is America. We're supposed to have options. If you want to live the hustle and bustle grind lifestyle, you should be able to do that in order to enjoy the luxuries of life. To not be in that starter home, to be in a bigger home. To not drive a regular car, to drive a fancier car. But now you have regular, everyday people who don't want to live the hustle and bustle lifestyle, who have to in order to survive. You should be able to have options. If you're working 40 hours a week, you should be able to live a regular lifestyle. The hustle and bustle should be for the people who want more out of life. But that's why we see our happiness level plummet to 24th. That's why we see what's going on with the income equality, and middle class is no such thing as middle class. And when I say working class, the problem is when I say working class, some people think I'm thinking $30,000 a year. Working class now is low six figures, 150, 200,000. You're part of the working class. Yeah. It has shrunk so much that, and we have regular everyday people with the glimmer of hope that they can reach elite status. Everybody around you is in the working class, but you have the glimmer of hope you can reach the elite status, knowing that the lifestyle of everybody around you is deteriorating. Instead of trying to fix what's going on right now, you want to work so hard in order to reach the elite status, so it won't be a problem anymore. Instead of trying to fix what's going around you right now, you know what I mean? It's just that mindset of the elites will possibly save you a seat at the table, in which people don't care about the shitty life that they're going through right now, or everybody that looks like them, or everybody that they know in their life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, and it's not getting, and I keep saying it's not getting any better. And you can tell with the fact that you can Klarna DoorDash. That is that if that doesn't tell you anything.
Yeah, that is insane, yo. Like the idea of like I can finance this meal. Damn, bro, we're going down. This ain't good.
And hey, this is the greatest country in the world, though. Well, let's look at the infrastructure. Horrible. Do we have high speed rail systems? Absolutely not.
I didn't think about that. I never thought about that shit.
Of course. We spend all money in the military. Military power. No, seriously. Yeah. We spend all money. You go over to the east, and it looks like you're living in the future. It's like, oh my gosh, what's going on here? It's just the mindset of the governments and what they actually put value in. And what we put value in America has no bearing on the bettering the lives of the people. Like I said, we like to tout either our military strength or tout the accomplishments of the elite. But that has nothing to do, and we already know, through example, when the elites make more money, that doesn't stimulate the economy. They don't stimulate the economy like everyone else does.
Right.
They hoard their money and to make more money. So them making more money has no bearing on everybody else.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think a lot of eyes are being opened. I saw, I don't know if you saw Speed. Speed did a stream out in China. Mm-mm. Speed just did a stream out in China, and a lot of people were like, wow, I didn't realize how nice China was. Wow. Speed was in a supercar that's faster than the Lamborghini he has at a fraction of the cost. Oh my gosh. People didn't realize how China has advanced so much because the only thing we know about China is what they tell us, is the propaganda. So people are seeing Speed stream and like, wow, oh my gosh, we didn't realize China was like that. Or remember when I talked about before when TikTok was banned and Americans were going on Chinese TikTok?
Yeah.
The Chinese version, like, wow, I didn't realize Chinese people are normal people. You know what I mean? So like, it's just crazy once you think. Once I saw the statistic that we're now the 24th happiest country, the lowest it's ever been, and the fact that we can Klarna DoorDash, I'm like, oh yeah, I already know what time it is.
Damn.
Well, I already know what time it is, and we are at a level where at some point it's gonna bust. At some point, eventually?
Do you think it'd be possible for us to go back to like a real life Great Depression, like one of those type of situations where everybody money just gone, like gets destroyed, like it's over, like whatever's in the banks. If DIC shows $250,000, that means you got $4 million in there. All we got is $250 for you, gang.
That's a good question.
Do you think it'll ever reach that point again, where like people just like your money just disappeared?
That.
Like everybody, like oh, you was up the other day, yeah, you're poor now.
That's a good question. I don't know if necessarily that would be the case, because the safeguards that we put in place. Well, this is a long answer to your question.
I'm here for it.
After the Great Depression, America realized that in order for that to never happen again, we have to spend money. We have to create a demand for something. So what they did is they created demand for the military industrial complex to create the demand so that we're not in that situation. So to answer your question, I don't think that'll ever happen again when it comes to everybody being poor. But I think that we're going to a level where most regular people are going to be in debt. Most regular people are not going to be able to afford regular stuff. Something's going to have to give. The prices of stuff is going to have to come down, or the debt is going to be multiplied. And I think that's kind of where we're going. I don't think the elites will ever be in that situation. You know what I mean?
I don't know, man. I'll be thinking about it like, this history shit could be repeating itself, man. Because if we're gearing up for what you're saying, I'm looking at it like, yo, we might be in the new millennium's version of the Roaring '20s right now. Like, little do we know, like the for real, the last like 5-10 years, there's been a lot of like different things that really made a lot of people rich. Whether it be YouTube, whether it be music, whether it be crypto, whether it be the way that the real estate has exploded, as far as like the value of properties have gone up so exponential in the last like 10 years that I'm like, damn, is this shit all a plot for like the 40s of this millennium to be just like the 40s of the last? And is the Great Depression coming? Because I'd be nervous, bro.
I'm glad you said that, but you realize the only people that made money in the last 5-10 years are the wealthy.
Nah, that's not true. What do you mean?
I'm talking about the wealth during the pandemic grew more than it ever has.
Yeah, but I know a lot of people who literally went from like, yo, I got 20,000 to I got like millions in a matter of like a year or two.
But
that's not wealthy. But I know what you're saying.
But at the same time, look what happened during the pandemic. Most Americans, their wealth went down. You know what I mean? A lot of people were out of work.
I feel like it was kind of the opposite, though. A lot of people set themselves up for the next, like, 20, 30 years during the pandemic, especially if you invested the money in the right place, for real. I mean, if you put the money in the right place, I know a couple of legit people that are millionaires now off crypto alone. Like, that, I mean,
we'll see what happens. Well, we'll see. But I think we're at a level where people are really starting to realize what's going on. But we'll I guess, like I said, we'll see what happens.
I don't know. I just see a lot of similarities because I'm one who always, I mean, it's a fact that history repeats itself.
It does.
It's like I'm watching this shit. Like I'm watching industries close down. I'm watching industries completely change the same way in the early, like in the 20s, the automotive industry started taking off and there was all these factories and all these jobs and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden it shut down. The last 10, 20 years, everybody was going to tech. Everybody's been going to tech. Pandemic hits, tech changes up because all of a sudden we don't need all these giant office buildings we've been keeping. Everybody go home. So now what happens to all these properties that have been being built, that they spent billions of dollars making all these high rises and all these office buildings that are no longer being in need and in use? What's happening? You know what I'm saying? Like I see very similar things going on where I'm watching industries that were booming. The calls for these places, the calls for San Francisco to be as popping as it is, as far as like the value of the properties out there, or even like Seattle being has such a high market value, being a shitty ass area to be in, like terrible location as far as geographically, but it's $4,000 for a 1-bedroom in Seattle right now. You know what I'm saying?
Which is crazy.
Which is insane, but that came because of the tech. Same way in the 20s, 30s and shit, everybody was moving to Detroit. Everybody's moving to Pittsburgh. Everybody, where they building cars at? We need to be there. Factory? Oh, they building equipment for the military? Bet. That's what we need. Steel mills? Oh, the Steelers? Oh, yeah, we got to go there because that's where we need to build some more trains. All this shit's happening. Shit was booming. And then all of a sudden, crash. And everybody's fucked. And like I feel like that was just happening and that crash is coming and I'm nervous.
Yeah,
because it's been trickling happening.
It's happening. It's definitely been trickling.
All we need is that war. I think that one war is gonna kick it off, and we're gonna really watch that.
And not only that, not only that. So they're attacking Social Security. They're attacking SNAP benefits. Mm-hmm. So all of that, I think, also factors into it as well.
I don't know, man. I think they're moving funny right now. They know what's gonna happen. I feel like the writing's on the wall.
Well, I guess we're gonna have to wait and see.
I'm gonna strap up my boots. I'm ready for whatever. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, you gotta weather the storm, baby.
Hell yeah.
Weather the storm. That's all. That's all you can do. With that being said, this has been the episode of the Free Gems.
Word? Yeah. We do got shit to do. Word. You know, word. Because there's actually a whole bunch of other shit I wanted to mention, but you know what? I'll say that for next week's episode. But yeah, so it's been
this been an episode of the Free Gems.
Listen, we got episode 144.
We got moving and grooving to do right now.
Word. Appreciate everybody. Everybody, listen. Tap in. Tell a friend to tell a friend.
Tell a friend to tell a friend. Tap in. Thank you guys so much. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll check y'all next week.
Yeah, we gone.
We out of here.